So my name is Harsh Mehta. I'm the recruiting specialist for the College of Engineering, and I'm based at our campus location. Thanks for joining us for our wonderful session for Wonder Week. This session is going to highlight mechanical and industrial engineering. So you're in for a 45-minute session where I'll go over some admission slides, excuse me, and we'll of course have an amazing faculty member that's going to talk about the department. We'll wrap it up with some more mission slides, and then we'll open up for Q&A. So on the bottom of your screen, you will see a Q&A chat box. We definitely advise you to use that to type in your questions. This session is specifically program specific, so I ask you to use it as an opportunity to ask questions more related to your program, not towards your application or something, since that requires a lot more time and that requires one-on-one attention. But you're more than welcome to email our admissions inbox, and we're more than happy to answer that question. So of course, you know what Northeastern is, and if you don't, you're in the right place to learn more about Northeastern. So what is Northeastern? We're a top-ranked R1 research school with experiential learning university. Experiential learning is something that is in our logo, it's in our mantra, and that is something that you will continuously keep hearing from myself and other members throughout the week of Wonder Week, as well as we're a top-ranked university for co-op and internship. So if you're not aware that Northeastern has just hit 115 years of co-op specifically for the College of Engineering. College of Engineering was the first college on Northeastern campus to start co-op. So we're really excited of how successful it has been, and it continues to grow. And that is probably one of the reasons why you also joined us today to learn more about it. Another thing is within Northeastern, we have 10 colleges and schools. So although we are one institution, there's a lot of collaboration and networks within other colleges. We have a large population of over 50,000 students, so that is a big number. However, 1/3 of our population is students from College of Engineering. Outside of that, we have everything from MS to PhD, as well as certificates you could add throughout your curriculum if you like. And then, of course, because we are a research school, there's a lot of external research awards that a lot of our faculty work really hard on getting. And outside of Boston, there are over 13 campuses that Northeastern is located. So we are a global university system, and we have campuses from the East Coast to the West Coast and even abroad. So this is just a glimpse of where our beautiful campuses are and where they're located, and we're always expanding, and our programs are always shifting to other campuses as well. As we continue that, what does that look like, right? So within Northeastern, there's 6 departments within the College of Engineering, from bioengineering all the way to multidisciplinary graduate education. And within that, our student body makes about 10,000 of our graduate students, as well as we have, like I've stated earlier, we have everything from PhD, MS, and BS. So these are just some of our numbers and stats for the College of Engineering, as that is a very common question that comes in. So we are top ranked 38 for the best graduate engineering school, as well as top 37 for the best graduate engineering school for undergrad. And then, of course, our amazing faculty continues to strive and continues to do their research throughout the years. And these are just a glimpse of where we are and where our programs are located. So this just gives you an idea that, of course, there's multiple graduate certificates you can add on top of your degree, as well as if you were doing a PhD track. Where does this all conspire? Where does this all go towards, right? So this is what our mission for COE is. It's an academic institution. Our mission is product is people. Our success is based on the quantity and quality of the people we produce. So something our dean has once said is that good engineers solve problems, great engineers solve important problems, and then transformative engineer discover and solve important problems. And that is something we produce, is transformative engineers, students, and faculty with the global impact. And then we have an amazing faculty member that continues to strive throughout that. So I'm going to pass it on to our faculty member to talk about the program.
Thank you, Harsh. And hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So I'm Özlem Ergun. I'm a professor in the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering department on the industrial engineering side, but I'm also the associate chair of graduate studies, which means that I help manage all the graduate programs, both MS and PhD, within the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering department. And today I will be talking about a few things around the department, around our programs, and I'm happy to answer questions throughout the time we have here. Next, please. So I'm not going to say too much here in the sense that Harshil's already talked about this, but we are one of the largest colleges in Northeastern. We do offer PhD, MS, and BS degrees, and we have a lot of academic programs with a matching number of faculty and a matching size of externally funded research program. Next, please. And let's continue. Okay, so as Harsh was saying, we're a highly ranked engineering school, but at the same time, we are highly ranked. We have highly ranked graduate programs both in mechanical and industrial engineering, and in fact, our programs get even higher ranks within with respect to co-op, with respect to experiential and innovative programs. So we do have faculty, about 80+ faculty in our department alone. And most of our faculty who are on the tenured track faculty have very active research programs, including multiple nationally recognized young investigator awards from the National Science Foundation, but from other big institutions as well. So we do have about 150, 160 PhD students and around 1,200 Master of Science students. And we have about the same number of undergraduate students as well. So that makes us about a department with about 3,000 students. So we are one of the largest departments in Northeastern campus and in College of Engineering. So if you look at like our co-op numbers, about 93% of our graduates are employed or enrolled in graduate school. Our co-op numbers are quite high. Of course, it varies from year to year depending on the market, but we do have a large set of co-op faculty who specifically works with just the graduate programs we have, students within the graduate programs we have. And in general, our graduate programs have been growing over time, although I would say we probably kind of like have leveled off in the last couple of years. Next, please. So we have obviously a departmental administration structure. Our current interim department chair is Professor Lin. As I mentioned, I help with the graduates. I'm the associate chair for graduate studies, so I help manage all of our graduate programs. And then Professor Spaye is the associate chair for research affairs. Professor Goldstone is the associate chair for undergraduate affairs, and Professor Livermore is the associate chair for operations, which means that she is the person who is responsible for deciding which classes get offered every semester, who teaches which class, and so on and so forth. Next, please. And then focusing more onto the graduate affairs side, I do this work, of course, with a set of wonderful staff members. So we do have, a set of staff members who are dedicated to graduate affairs. And for example, Nicole Sosa, she helps with the MS programs, and Shannon Luck helps with the PhD programs. And within the graduate affairs group, we manage the recruiting and admissions. We manage it in the sense that we help the program coordinators, whom I'm going to be talking about in a second, to help we manage and facilitate the program directors to do their admissions into their programs. We manage the teaching assistant and course assistant assignments. We manage the graduate awards, program advising, and we do help with, different kind of formalities within the program, such as reviewing petitions, processing different types of requests, and we also run the PhD qualifying exams. Next, please. And I'll talk about the programs. I'm assuming most of you might already know that the programs that we have, but we have two sets of master's degree programs, and then we have two PhD programs. So we have two PhD degrees, one in mechanical engineering and the other one in industrial engineering. And we have, as I said, two sets of master's programs. So the first set of programs that are on the left-hand side of the screen for you are the master's degree only programs. They include the operations research, data analytics engineering, energy systems, engineering management, robotics, advanced and intelligent manufacturing, and human factors master's programs. These programs do not lead into a specific PhD, but of course, you can still come to one of these programs and decide to apply to a PhD program within our within our department. And then, as I said, we have a mechanical engineering and an industrial engineering PhD. And also we have the equivalent Masters of Science programs, both in mechanical engineering and industrial engineering. Within mechanical engineering, you can actually, and you should choose a concentration. These concentrations include the general mechanical engineering concentration, mechatronics, material science and engineering, mechanics and design, thermofluids engineering. And so if you're applying either to the master's program or to the PhD program, you actually have to choose within mechanical engineering, you have to choose one of the concentrations. And this helps us to direct your admissions material to the right concentration leader who is actually managing all the admissions decisions for that concentration. So it is important to choose a concentration when you apply to the mechanical engineering degrees. And we do not have concentrations within industrial engineering, but we also support some other programs in product development, like that are co-developed with other departments, such as the product development MS program or the interdisciplinary programs run by College of Engineering. Next, please. And as I said, I help run and run all of our wonderful programs, but this only happens with the help of a bunch of other faculty members who are actually directing these. They are the coordinators of these concentrations and programs. So as either a new applicant into one of these programs or concentrations, or when you become a student at Northeastern enrolled in one of these programs and concentrations, your first point of contact is actually one of these faculty members here who specifically help run and coordinate that program. So if you have a program-specific question, so for example, if you need to know something about human factors, your first contact should be Professor Lin, because she knows all the processes, procedures, and kind of the content of the human factors concentration, or not the concentration, but the program best. So my suggestion to you is that if you have a very program specific question, go to one of these faculty members who help to run these programs in the first place. Next, please. And all of this is listed in our websites, so you would know who these people are. And if you look at the distribution of our students into different programs, what you'll see is that about in our traditional MS programs, which is industrial engineering and mechanical engineering, we're about half and half. Like we have about 46% industrial engineers, and then we have the rest of the students in one of the concentrations within mechanical engineering. In the applied and professional MS programs, the largest programs are engineering management and data analytics engineering. And within our PhD programs, we have about a 60 to 40% divide between mechanical engineering and industrial engineering. Next, please. So for PhD applicants here, or PhD students when you enroll, there isn't an official concentration, but as I said before, it is really important to still choose a concentration as you're applying into the PhD program in mechanical engineering, because again, the concentration advisors or coordinators I have shown you 2 slides ago, Whenever you apply to our PhD program in mechanical engineering, we direct your application to the concentration lead. So it is very important for you to choose these concentrations in your application while they're not officially, these concentrations officially will not appear on your transcript, but they still help us manage who is the most relevant person to look at your application, or if and when you become a student here, it helps us in the PhD program, it helps us to, for example, understand which qualifying exams and which path of study you need to take. Next, please. In the Master of Science program, we have, for all programs, we have 3 ways that you can actually get a degree. I'll start from the traditional and the bottom, the traditional option that is at the bottom of the screen, which is the coursework option. So we require 32 semester hours of courses, which is relevant, more or less equal to 8 courses within College of Engineering. So, so if you take these 8 courses and satisfy all the requirements for your degree, you will get an MS degree by just doing coursework. And if you don't do co-op, you can finish this within about 1.5 years. However, of course, many of our students do co-op, and this usually ends up being about a 2-year degree. If you want to spend a little bit of time doing some research, though, and what we offer is that you can take about 7 classes and then do instead of doing an elective, one of the electives can be replaced by a guided research where you work under the guidance of a faculty member and get credit for the project / the research that you did for 1 semester. And then if you really want to do more research and you're really interested in the research, kind of the research avenue, you can also choose to do a thesis option to get your Master of Science degree. And here, instead of replacing one of your electives with research, you actually replace 2 of your electives with research under the guidance of a faculty member. And you end up writing a thesis, which is a requirement, and you defend your master's thesis, which is again a requirement, and you end up getting an MS degree with a thesis. So there are really 3 ways of completing an MS degree within our department. Next, please. So as I have mentioned earlier, our faculty members are very active in research. So there are many opportunities to get kind of your hands dirty within research. Here's just a set of faculty members who've been doing some recent interesting work, really funded by different agencies. So for example, Professor Nur Alam works within the health systems area, and he's been really working on pain medication addiction, funded by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. Professor Yi Zhang works in materials, and he has been awarded many different grants. Here is just like one of his big achievements, which was an early career grant from the National Science Foundation, looking at nanoscale radiative heat transfer for enhanced energy conversion and cooling. Professor Sagar Kamarti is one of our senior faculty members who developed actually the data analytics engineering program and has been highly decorated in teaching and practicing data analytics. And he's also very interested in kind of the digitization of the industry. So he does look into Industry 4.0 type of programs. Professor Casey Maas is also one of our I'm going to say young faculty members, but she's also been here for more than 6 years now. So she's also has been very highly funded, looking into how to disrupt human trafficking networks, and looking at homeless shelters, and generally works on applications of operations research and industrial engineering to societal problems. Next, please. We also have, as I said, I mean, we have a lot of faculty with a lot of research interests. So just to give you a few more examples, we have Professor Matt Galchi, who has been very recently selected as an honorary member of the American Society of Mechanical Engineering, has been working on energy systems for a long time. We also have on the right-hand side of the screen, we have a large-scale cold spray research group looking at additive manufacturing, very well funded both through the National Institute of Standards and Technology and some Department of Defense contracts. And then Professor Safa Jamali on the bottom is again a faculty member within the materials engineering concentration, looking mostly on computational work with a very well-funded program. Next, please. We also have a very active graduate student life and professional organizations just within our department. So, for example, Informs, which is the student chapter for Institute for Operations Research and Management Science at Northeastern, is a very active organization that has been getting recognized by the International Informs society with at least half a dozen awards over the last 10 years. Our engineering management student organization is very active. The Energy Systems Society, for example, is a very visible organization within the campus. They run, in fact, every year they run a big event on campus, bringing in leaders in government, industry, and academia onto Northeastern campus, completely run by the students, into this completely run by the students event, and where all these people come in and interact with our students. Next, please. So our students also go to find really good opportunities after they graduate. So our PhD students go both into industry, academia, and or research labs. I'm not going to go over everything here, but we do have, as I said, we do have students who have been very successful in the industry, and students who went on to postdoc researcher type of jobs also, but also very recently we've been having a really good stream of students going into faculty positions, students and postdocs going into faculty positions around the country. Next, please. We also, as I have been mentioning earlier, we do have students who have been active both in research and other activities around the campus. Our students' research gets recognized internationally throughout all our concentrations and our degree programs. Here we have on the top, we have one of our recent PhD graduate students with work in looking at working with a faculty member in Network Science Institute, looking at physical networks to understand or how to model physical networks such as the brain to understand them better. And in the bottom, we have one of our MS energy system students introducing actually Bill Clinton on this Clinton Global Institute University event, that initiative university event that was held on campus in I think 2019. Next, please. So I'll let you take over.
Perfect. Thank you. So I appreciate everyone and the amazing questions that are coming in. So there's a lot of questions regarding courses, programs. This is a great slide for all of those inquiries that are coming in. So our departments all have, majority of them have graduate ambassador. And what a graduate ambassador is a student that has been in your shoes. So they've done the process of applying. They are current enrolled students within Northeastern and they're MIE student. So if you have if you're on your phone watching us or if you have it on your laptop, I highly recommend to scan the QR code and that will connect you with our student ambassador. And you could ask them specific questions about course structure. You could ask them questions about campus life, events, um, anything relating to co-op as well. You could also ask them just about student life. Things that you cannot ask them is like the status of your application, for them to help you write a personal statement or stuff like that. But they're definitely a great tool and a great asset to have, especially if Northeastern is something that you do want to attend. They're definitely a good person to connect with and also start that collaboration. There's also an email address that's listed there, which is coeambassadors@northeastern.edu. And you could just email them. It does take 24 to 48 hours for them to respond to you, as they are current students and they are enrolled in classes and research and all that fun stuff. Out of that, of student ambassadors, what does your next steps look like? So I do know that there are some admitted students in here, so we'd like to congratulate you on your acceptance. So there is a pipeline, or there's a pathway that you do want to follow. So the first one will be paying your enrollment fee. Following that, based on if you are an international student or a domestic student, your triggers will be different. However, so one, you want to make sure that you activate your Husky email address, because moving forward, a lot of the communication will start through that. Students are required to submit a health report, and then the process starts changing from housing to I-20s and stuff like that. So definitely keep in mind and keep an eye out in your inbox, as well as the admissions inbox, and you can definitely email us and we'll definitely be happy to answer your questions. So there's still time to apply. I do see there's a lot of PhD students that are asking a lot of questions. So the deadline for all PhD students is December 1st. For any MS student, the priority deadline is January 15th. So that is something that you definitely want to keep an eye out, although we are an unrolling admissions office, but definitely these are some key dates and times you do want to keep an eye out for. And if you're a student that still is looking to apply for the spring of 2025, it is still open only for domestic students though. And then, of course, what are the admissions requirements? So we do require 2 letters of recommendation, unofficial transcripts at the start of your application, a statement of purpose. We do require resume. GRE is optional, so you don't have to submit GREs. We do require official English proficiency exams. So I know that's a very common question that was being asked. So you do have to submit official English proficiency exams. So that could be from IELTS, TOEFL, or Duolingo's. And they have to be valid until the day you start your classes. And then, of course, the fee waiver code, if you haven't submitted an application, will be apply COE 2025. And then, so these are just some ground or some rules of just when you use your fee waiver code, that when you do apply to the university, you want to make sure that you are clicking that you have received a fee waiver code and that you're going to input it in. And then you will follow the next steps. If you already have submitted an application, you unfortunately cannot use the fee waiver code, as the system would unfortunately just revoke or delete your duplicated application. So just be mindful that is the fee waiver code you will use, and it is case sensitive. So it is a capital A and it is capital COE. And then, of course, keeping in touch with us. We're around the clock. Our team is always active, and if we're not in the office, we're out on the road, and then we're always checking our inbox. So we're all over Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. So if you ever want to know where we are, our events page tells us where the team is, as well as these are some of our email addresses you could also reach out to. So this wraps up towards the end of our presentation. So I'm going to open up for Q&A, but I'm going to leave this slide open just so you guys can take down our email addresses and then pass your email while we answer some questions.
So Harsh, do you want to say anything in terms of the when will students be hearing back for their application in MS, and I'll handle the PhD one.
Sure. So MS is the dates are always varying, but faculty are emailed. They're like we've stated earlier, MIEs are most largest program. So we do require students to be a little bit patient with us and with the department because your applications are reviewed by the department. They're not reviewed by us in the admissions office. So we just like you to be mindful of that. So at least give it at least from the date you submit it and once it's complete. So that's something that I like to let students know is that just because you submit an application doesn't mean it gets reviewed right away. Your application gets reviewed once it's fully complete. So that means your recommendations are in, your TOEFL scores are in. So it has to be fully complete before it gets pushed to be reviewed by the department because the department won't review your application or the system won't push your application if it's still missing a letter of recommendation or if it's missing your English scores or if it's missing a resume. So you will continuously keep getting emails from the university saying, hi, your application is incomplete. So once it's fully complete, that is when it'll be reviewed by the department.
Thank you, Harsh. And I'll say a few words about the PhD admissions process. So the PhD admissions process is very decentralized, meaning that as your applications come in after December 1st, the concentration leads will get the PhDs that are relevant to their programs. And then it gets opened up to all the faculty members for them to see. And then the admission decisions are really made by the faculty members. So it's not done centrally at all. And the reason for this is that in our department, our faculty, we don't do a pooled admission of PhD students, like a given number every semester or every year. Every faculty member individually looks at their lab and their funding situation, and they decide if they want to hire a student in what area with what kind of expertise. And then they will go in and look at the applications and try to find a good match to their needs. So given that it's a very decentralized and very kind of specific skill-driven application process, we do not have like general big rolling decisions at all. So it's really, if a faculty member gets interested in your application, they'll probably contact you for a couple of interviews or discussions, and then you'll hear back from them. So we will hold your application, the PhD applications, open for a long time till kind of well into the summer usually, just because as more funding comes in and other positions get opened up in the faculty labs, the faculty will want to always come back to these applications and see if there is someone within that applicant pool that they would like to contact. So the PhD application process is a little bit different than the MS, where MS we get all the applications in a every periodically, we review them, we make decisions periodically. With the PhD, we don't have that process. It's really, really faculty driven. I also want to, as I've been scrolling down the questions, I also want to address a couple of questions around funding. So for the PhD students, if you're getting an offer of admission, it comes with guaranteed 5 years of funding. So, and that's why it's so hard to get these PhD positions, because every single admission is kind of connected to a funded position. So that's why it's all driven by our research funds, our grants, and so on and so forth in the PhD program. In the MS program, we do not have a funding mechanism for MS students. However, a lot of our MS students, after they come into the campus, they'll get campus jobs. And then as they become more experienced within our programs, like for example, when they take classes and so on, they start applying for course assistant positions, and they might get actually employed as a course assistant, or sometimes they might get recruited into a research lab and get employed as a research assistant, but none of this is guaranteed, and they are all competitive positions. So there is no really master student funding, specifically also just as you're getting into the program. All right, and so I see quite a few questions around like my GPA is this, my GPA is that, like can I apply? Everyone can apply. We don't have a cutoff. But at the same time, I must say that these are all competitive programs. We get a lot of applications. So there are a couple of questions about the size of the programs. As I said, our largest programs are data analytics engineering and the engineering management master programs. So every cohort within those 2 degrees each has about 100 to 200 students every cohort. I mean, the number fluctuates, but that's kind of like what we have. So let me see. So I do see a couple of questions around the co-op opportunities, but I think there's going to be a session with the co-op faculty specifically, right, Harsh? So I'm not going to say much about that. We have an amazing group of faculty members. They're just doing co-op. They are co-op faculty. And we have dedicated co-op faculty members for our graduate programs. And there is a faculty member who will be managing a group of our concentrations. So you will be in good hands in co-op. I also saw a question around the concentrations for the PhD program in mechanical. So industrial engineering PhD program does not have concentrations. You just apply into concentration. You just apply into the PhD in industrial engineering. In mechanical engineering, you have a concentration in mechanics and design, materials engineering, thermofluids, and mechatronics. So 4 different concentrations within the PhD program for mechanical engineering. And all of this information is available on our websites. Harsh, is there anything that you want to address as I'm scrolling down?
There's a lot of English proficiency questions, so I'm going to put our link to our COE admissions page, and that there's a special tab that discusses English proficiency test, and that lists the countries that are waived. And if you are a student, if you're an international student who has studied in the country already, you are not required to take an English proficiency exam. So that's just some clarity there. If you look at the chat, everyone, you will see a link to our general admissions requirements.
Mm-hmm. And again, I'm seeing quite a few questions around PhD applications. So there are some questions around if you can apply after a BS degree. Yes, definitely, you can apply after a BS degree. And a lot of the students who come in with just an undergraduate degree will get a master's degree along the way as they're like moving on to their PhD programs. At the same time, though, and I've seen some questions around publications. Are there requirements for like having a number of publications for a PhD application? There are really no requirements. We do admit both types of students, but again, it is a very competitive process. But the way that it works is mostly around a fit. So you might be an undergraduate student who's done a certain thing in their undergraduate, and it really fits the profile that a faculty member is looking for to fill a position within their lab, and then they will contact you. So in that sense, there is no requirements, but there's a fit. It's a competitive program. As I said, it comes with 5 years of funding. So as you can imagine, it is kind of a very desirable position. So it's very hard for us to look at an application and say that, oh, yes, you will have a chance, you won't have a chance. It really is about having at the moment of your application, having an opening that's a good fit for you. So, so we do have a lot of Northeastern students who are in either undergraduate or MS degrees within our program who come to me to ask advice on PhD applications. Even to them, I tell them to apply to many different programs because the PhD program, even if it's like our best student in our MS or an undergraduate program right now might not get in because they might not be a good fit to any of the openings we have at that year. So for PhD programs, it's a good idea to apply to many different programs to find the right fit for you. So yeah, I'm scrolling down other questions to see if I have anything. So there is a question around, do I have to submit applications by December 1st for the PhD program? Harsh, I mean, we don't
Yeah,
really,
so
yeah,
PhD,
go ahead.
you do have to submit it by December 1st. We do understand that there are some points in time where like you're missing a letter of recommendation or something, but we highly recommend you submit your application by December 1st. Whatever the term that we use is whatever you have control of, you should submit it. And then anything that's external, once they come in, they'll just be tagged to your application.
Mhm. Yeah, and I see some questions around like, this is my undergraduate, what is my chances of getting into this other program? It's very hard for me to say. I mean, in industrial engineering, for example, for our master's programs, we're quite flexible. If you have any kind of an engineering degree with good records, we believe that you can do the MS degree in industrial engineering, data analytics, engineering management. Mechanical engineering programs might be a little bit more careful about that. On the other hand, in general, our motto is that if you have any kind of an engineering degree, you will probably be able to survive our MS degrees. You might have to take some classes that are coming from kind of a lower level classes, even maybe some undergraduate courses to catch up, but you should be able to complete an MS degree in our program with a given set of kind of basic engineering skills. But again, like these are all kind of very high level comments. Program concentration leads look at all the applications for the MS program and kind of try to judge if a student could be successful in the program we're offering. So I see a question in terms of how flexible are the elective courses in our master's programs. They're actually very, very flexible. I know that we say any other question in like, so in this question, you know, in our program catalog, it says any other course in mechanical engineering or material science. In general, if you're looking into any kind of an engineering program, engineering class, if you're in the or looking at if you're in the industrial engineering, data analytics, engineering management type of programs, if you're looking at business school classes, we're usually very flexible, although they're not listed as potential electives in our course catalog. You can always petition a course to be counted as an elective when you get into the program. And in general, if it makes sense, the program coordinator will just approve the request. So there is a mechanism to take a varied set of electives for the program, given that it makes sense for what you want to do. There is a petition process. And even with our core courses, if you come in with a strong background in the degree that you want to continue on, and you believe that some of the core courses in our program requirements have been satisfied by your previous schooling, you can come in and actually petition to waive some of the core requirements and take another class instead of the one that you already know. Within the program. So we are within the program, we are flexible to a certain degree in terms of how we manage our program requirements. So if something makes sense, we usually allow it. But if you come in and you want to do something completely different than our coursework, then we tell you that like this is not the program you came into, so we will not allow that.
I'm going to answer this as we're almost top of the hour. When you apply to Northeastern, you could choose up to 2 other additional programs within your main program. So if you are a student that's interested in robotics and let's say energy systems or robotics and MIE, you could submit up to 3 applications within your main application. So I saw there was a few questions that can you apply to more than one program at the school? Yes, you can. Okay, I think we're almost at the top of the hour, and majority of the questions you guys have asked have been great, and we really appreciate these rapid fires. This session is recorded and it will be shared with you. You also could find it on our YouTube page, as well as there's also going to be more additional sessions. So there will be a specific co-op session that you could attend, and I believe that's on Friday. And then on Friday, we will also have a session for ambassadors, and that is where you can ask them any questions you have. So we appreciate everyone that has joined us today, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you, Arsh. Thank you, everyone.